Hello, lizard lovers. Welcome back to Geckoland. It's Ozzy, and today's video will be about Ash. So, this is kind of about why I don't really show older pictures of Ash, as you saw from the title, and just kind of confessing, I guess. This isn't scripted at all. I just have a bunch of notes written down, and I'm going to be reading them off. I usually script because I'm not really great at improv, but that's kind of what I'm doing for this video. This is a very honest video. It's going to sound awful about some of the things that I'm going to be going over, but I just wanted to be honest with you guys. Ash, as you may know, is 5 years old. I don't know her exact age, but she's around 5-ish, 6. I got her in 2016. I lived in a no pets home, and I really wanted a lizard, but I didn't really know what type, so I was looking at crested geckos, bearded dragons, and I almost got a blue-tongued skink, but then I realized how big it was, so I didn't get that, even though they're really cool, and I kind of wish I did, but I love leopard geckos too. So it was 2016, and I had got back from my trip from Japan with my family, and when I came into my room, Ash was just sitting there. My dad had got me Ash, and she was in a 10-gallon terrarium with play sand and 2 hides. By the way, this is not my dad's fault at all. I just said I wanted a lizard, and if your kid wants a lizard, then you kind of just get them a lizard and don't really do a lot of research, so I don't blame this on him at all. We got her from East Bay Vivarium. She came with a care packet, just one from like Petco or something, and I looked at the care packet because it was there and I assumed that I should follow it. It said every other day you should feed them for adults. It wasn't specific about how many you would feed them, so I thought 1 bug every other day. So that's how I'd been feeding her for several years. And I don't know how she survived off of that amount of food. I didn't really dust her insects, I only fed her dubia roaches. I had calcium, but it was like calcium with D3 and multivitamins, and it's still the same. Actually, no, that one expired, so I got a new one, but it's the same kind as I have now, and it wasn't a bad one, but I just didn't use it, unfortunately. So I didn't dust her insects, fed her only dubias, and fed her once every other day, which is not the feeding schedule for any age of leopard geckos. If it's a baby, it's feed them 5 to 7 every day. Juvenile is every other day, but you feed them 5 to 7, not just 1. And for adults is every 3 to 4 days you feed them 5 to 7. So I was feeding her that amount, and she became really, really skinny. When we got her, she was really healthy. She had a really chunky tail and was like plump in a good way, not obese, just a good weight. And she became really, really skinny. And somehow it took me about 3 years to notice how skinny she was getting. And then when I really took a minute and looked at her, I was like, oh my god, has she always been this skinny? And I kind of got freaked out for a second. So I started to research, and the weight that she actually was at the time was 34 grams. So that's literally about half of the amount that she weighs right now. Right now she weighs 66 grams. So that's almost half that she is right now. Here's a few pictures of what she looked like. I started feeding more because I started doing some more research, and when I saw videos of people feeding their geckos the right amount, I was like, why are they feeding that so much? Like, aren't their geckos gonna become obese or something? But I started doing research and realized that those people were feeding the right amount and I was feeding her the wrong amount. So I started researching more, and when I looked at substrates, I started researching substrates. I switched to calci sand because I had read from a few websites that it was good for them and that they could absorb it through their skin or something. I don't know if that's accurate at all, but just so you know, I'm very against calci sand. They can get impacted very easily, specifically because it's very fine, and any sand in general is not great for them. So yeah, I got her some calci sand from a pet store and put her on it, and she still survived. But I did have like a scary incident with the calci sand, and that's when I started doing more research. So what happened was I saw her licking like a lot of the sand, which is natural for them because it's calci sand. They think it's just calcium. And that was really terrifying now that I think about it. I couldn't figure out what was wrong at the time. So what she was doing was she was just licking a bunch of calci sand, and I got freaked out and I took her out and I'm like, no, stop, you can't eat calci sand. So I took her out and held her, and then she started really aggressively biting me. And I still don't know why she was biting me that much, but maybe I had like calci sand on me and she was trying to eat the calcium off of me or something. But she started like biting me nonstop. So I contacted a vet, for some reason not an exotic vet, just a random vet, and they told me to feed her vegetables. And at the time I did know that that was wrong, so thankfully I didn't do that. But I don't know exactly what happened. I think that I just had calcium on my hand and she was trying to eat it off of me. But I got freaked out by that and started doing more research and figured out, oh my god, have I been just almost killing my lizard? She was 34 grams, she lived on calci sand, she only had a few hides that were not very enclosed at all. And she was living like that for about 3 years. And then I switched her to paper towel substrate and gave her more hides and fed her better. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I did not clean out like anything out of her tank. I only did like a big clean once every 6 months, but I didn't like take out the poop or anything. So it was just like really, really awful for her, and I feel so bad still. She did survive, and as you know, because she's right here in this video, and I started caring for her better for the past maybe a year or two. I kind of got Mushu so that I could retry and hopefully not be as awful of a parent to Mushu as I was to Ash. And I feel like it's really unfair for Ash, and as I said, I feel really bad. But she is okay now, so I got Mushu and I've been caring for him, I hope, properly. Yeah, so since I've had lots of experience from making lots of mistakes for Ash, and after doing lots and lots of research, I did research for like months just to make sure I had it completely right, because I felt so awful for doing that, so I just wanted to completely correct my mistake. So I got Mushu, and he's doing wonderful, actually. He's looking so happy and so great, and Ash is looking lovely. A lot of people point out that she does have calcium sacs and I need to feed her less calcium. I'm aware of her calcium sacs. At one point, I overfed her calcium because I got freaked out that I hadn't been feeding her calcium. So I fed her so much calcium that she got calcium sacs, and now her skin is stretched out and stuck like that. I took her off calcium for a year, and they're just stuck. So that's why she still has calcium sacs. But because I did all of this research about Mushu and Ash, or just leopard geckos in general, I wanted to make this channel so I could help you not make the same mistakes that I made. And I have been caring for my lizards properly for about 2 years, and they're doing great. They're surviving, and not just surviving, but like living clearly happy lives. They're both looking very happy and healthy. I wanted to make this channel so that you don't make the same mistakes, and Ash, she's really good at surviving in those conditions, luckily, but a lot of leopard geckos aren't, so I don't want your geckos dying on you guys, so I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes, so that's the main reason I made this channel, because I felt awful for what I did, and it still is awful. And if you think that I'm still a bad owner, then you can unsubscribe, that's fine. I think it just shows how much I've learned since then, because I was pretty young when that happened, but I think now I wouldn't make the same mistakes. But yeah, even for new pets, I would not go off of the care packet. Like, I plan on getting some pets in the future, but I would definitely not do the same thing to Ash as I did to them. So hopefully, that's, I don't know what to say. That's kind of just Ash's past, like the reality of what actually happened. I didn't want to lie, like, oh yeah, I cared for her properly since she was born, which isn't true. I hope that you learned from this video that it's okay to make mistakes, and I made like a huge mistake for years, and I learned from it, so you guys can learn from your mistakes. And I don't want to make this like a YouTuber apology video, but I really am sorry for what I did to Ash in her younger years. I think it's actually better because I know that I shouldn't be doing those things, and I have literally experienced what I shouldn't be doing and what happens if you do these things, so I think it's actually better. I'll see you guys next week with hopefully a less sad sounding video. I usually don't make videos about my geckos, but I just wanted to address this thing that I did. And next week I'll probably be making another informative video because that's what most of this channel is about. But if you want to learn more about leopard geckos, then you can check out some of my other videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.